So on these beams, these are really nice beams. And I'm kind of imitating real wood coloring. And I've played around with one of them. I've got it right over here. So I've played with a few different spots. This is one of my favorites right here. That's got a matte clear on it. This is just straight Rust-Oleum, a couple different colors. But I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it gloss or if I'm going to try to knock it down to be more of a clear or more of a matte. So that's this same stuff right here, but with the matte clear on it. I think the matte clear brings out the color a little more, and this one was just a little bit of a different style. So the way I'm doing it, I've been doing it with a brush. I'm basically brushing the deep grain black, and then doing a lighter brown on the top side, and then kind of brushing it in with a darker brown. So it's pretty time consuming. So what I just did is I just shot all the beams. These beams are pre-cut, pre-measured. I just shot them all black Rust-Oleum. Blew them off to get any loose, flaky stuff off. You know, these beams are expensive, but I got a good deal on them because they need kind of a rework. So that's the point of the video, just showing I shot them all black with a spray. That way I got real good coverage. And I'm going to let that dry overnight. I'll come back tomorrow and I'll do some of the lighter brown, and then I'll work in some of the darker brown, and I'll play back and forth. And I can always touch up a little bit of black as needed. But, you know, I got close to 50 linear feet of beam, so brushing it was taking a while, and it was real hard to get in all the grains. So, to be continued. So as you can see, I've got some gloss black beams now. I've lifted that one up on the sawhorses. I'm going to start with that one. So I'm going to begin just getting some of this light brown on. And then I got to let the light brown kind of dry to the touch a little, and then I'll start doing some dark brown. We'll see how that turns out. Alright, so here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the black. The black's been dried overnight, by the way. And I'm just running the brown, the lightest brown, kind of against the grain most of the time. A little bit with the grain. If you pull it at the right angle, it kind of leaves the deeper grain. So that seems to be working pretty good. Now, I'm actually painting left-handed, because I wanted to hold the camera a little more carefully. If you go with the grain near the big, deep grains, it ends up kind of filling them. So especially near the deeper stuff, I want to go against the grain to skip over the top of it. But then I got to do some width. Alright, so we're getting there. It seems to me that really the third brown is what starts to get it more realistic looking. So just working it here. Probably want more brown than black. Just because the black is, you know, well, wood's brown, not black. But the black gave it a lot of detail on my couple practice ones. So I'm gonna probably call it at that for the light brown. Matter of fact, this light brown is actually primer. So let me get the dark brown rolling. All right, so I'll just give you a little sample, the final brown. I'm mostly where I want this beam here, but I'm looking over to see if there's any spots that are a little too black. And maybe right here at the sawhorse. So same, I'm kind of a little against the grain, a little with the grain. Just hitting the high spots, which leaves the low spots a little dark. Maybe just a little too light right there. And then what I may do right now is go ahead and mix in some of that dark brown with some of the black and just add a third shade. So right now I got 3 distinct colors, but I may do one more. So quite different than the black. So I did a quick mix there. It turned out a little bit more gray, but just added, I mean, you can really barely tell, but it just added a little bit of a slightly different third color. Like there's a little bit of it there. There's the lighter one. This one's brown, lighter, and that's that third color that turned out a little gray. Just adding just a little bit to it. So I'm gonna say, I think this is exactly where I'm gonna leave this beam. Just like this. So here's a comparison of black to the colors. I don't know what you call this, the wood look. As much as I can get a wood look. Now I'm doing a little test over here. The satin clear, and it's having a little bit of a reaction. Kind of crinkled up on me. So it's all Rust-Oleum, it's all enamel, but I think I'm going to hold off on this and maybe just try to keep it gloss. I may play a little bit more, see if I can get it to not react. All right, so here's the look I was going for. This is a cut of the flooring. So, and each piece on the floor is a little different, so logically this would be a little different. I'm going to say, minus the slight difference in sheen, I feel like I'm pretty much there. Maybe a hair dark on the beam, but it's gonna look sweet. So this is the grain, and this is, you know, I'm trying to match grain and style, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna crank on these other ones, and I think I'm gonna hold off on the satin clear. I just got the last beam painted. Still super wet. So I did end up doing the 3 color plus black, light brown, dark brown, super dark brown, almost gray. Looking pretty sweet, I think. So obviously these are foam, but I don't know. I'm gonna say, if I walked in, I think they'd fool me. Hanging on the wall or hanging on the ceiling, you know, so we'll see what they look like when they're up, but I think they turned out sweet. Took about a day to get them done. So there it is. So I just set it down next to the old beams. I mean, the old beams were sweet, or, you know, the old finish on the beams, but I don't know. I like that darker new look, and they really had to have something done, because as you can see, once I started blasting them with air, this water-based paint started letting go. So now these are all oil-based Rust-Oleum, starting with that black sprayed on, so I got real good coverage and real good adhesion. So check that out. Matter of fact, these look decent when they're dirty. That's actually what's making these look a little better, is they're white, and then it's almost like they've been wiped and rubbed and kind of some dirt on there. Nothing like this. That's a sweet one. All right, so installing the beam. I did about a half a day, and then most of today too. Most of it is trial and error, fitment. Bring it up, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down. But eventually I got it where I was happy with it. I got it to seam up against the wall pretty good. And basically I definitely can't do this with the phone in my hand, but I'm basically getting everything where I need it, and I'm bringing it up this ladder, and I'm setting it on the top of that tall ladder. It'll just rest there. What? You want to be part of the show? Is it what you want? So I bring it up there and I just kind of rest it on the ladder and I fine tune where it fits. And then when I'm confident that it's good, you know, I had to do a little trimming. I had to take off little strips of drywall here. I did have to trim a little bit of the foam in a few spots just to get it to fit well. And then when I know it's good, I'll run up there with the a little brad nailer and I'll just pop some nails through the beam into the 2x6 up there. I think I throw those nails out. I mean, tiny nails, invisible from this height for sure. You know, they're in there somewhere. So that's all. I just kind of tack a few in, get down, make sure I really like it. Oh, and also on the ends, I did put a bead of caulk on the ends, both ends, and then I butt them right up to the wall, slip it up, pop them in. So there are seams, like you can see right here. I did it in 3 pieces, but what I did was I got the strap kit, and those little shiny parts right there, I actually stapled those with the air stapler. So just have those stapled in, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump up, because bringing it up and down, I did put a couple little nicks in it, as you can see. Like one of the bigger ones is over here. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to basically touch up any of the stuff on the beam, and then I'm also going to dab in black on the straps. So the strap is made to, it's actually leather. I've got another one right here. It's just a rolled up little roll of leather, and basically you just cut it to length. It's made to look like kind of like a wrought iron type of finish. Cool. They look good. It's just, you know, technically these foam beams could have been spliced together to be all one piece, but it would have been really tough to do for me. You know, for a woodworker, like, you know, somebody who does this all day, maybe not so much. But for just those two, I think they look pretty cool. I measured the rooms, and then they're all equal length. I forget what the length was, 116 inches a piece or something. Boom, 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 get them up there. I had to drill a hole in the fan, or I had to drill a hole where the fan was gonna go and then mount the fan hanger on top of it, but I have it blocked up with 2x6, so it's not hanging on the beam at all. The screws are just going through the beam and into the 2x6 blocking, and then double 2x6 in the top. So that fan's super anchored. So it's looking sweet, to be continued. All right, let's check out the finished product. So here's coming up the stairs. You can already see it. And then when you get up here, boom. Turned out really nice. Looks huge. The straps turned out good. Check this other room. Looks super realistic too. Let's see what it looks like with some lights on. Then we'll zoom in. So super nice. We'll do the same thing out here. This one's a little better lit. Yeah, but not great. So I think it's sweet. I'm real happy with how it turned out. Real happy for sure.